Hello there, this is the Digital Loss and I'm glad you can join me. In this video we are going to take a very standard Arturia Microfreak and we are going to turn it into this, a small self-contained desktop unit which shares very close to the same dimensions as a Roland Boutique. We'll be doing that by removing the keyboard and adding this lower case, which is called the Nanobod, and it's from 3DWaves. So this is a slightly different style video from what I normally would do. This is a purely informational video. This is not something that I'm encouraging you to go and do. This is not something that I recommend that you do or think you should. I'm merely documenting something that I did and also showing a pretty simple procedure, which is something that you might not even know about when it comes to the Microfreaks, and that is the removal of the keyboard. Now, the keyboard can divide a lot of people. Honestly, I didn't hate the keyboard on mine. I just wasn't really using it. It is this sort of touch style keyboard. They're not really physical press down keys. Your skin makes contact, which creates a signal. And again, like, I didn't dislike it, but I just wasn't really using it. I was using an external sequencer for the most part. The sequencer built into the Microfreak, it's not great. The arpeggiator was fun, hold function's always good. I wasn't really using the spice and dice. All those functions, they are all part of the, I say keyboard, I'm gonna keep saying keyboard. But again, I just found that I wasn't really using any of them. And as you can see here though, like all of those functions, like the hold and the sequencer and the spice and dice and everything, that is all part of that keyboard. But if you do the keyboard removal, you basically, everything from the graphics here, that will all remain. That will all be completely functional. All of your rear connections will still be there for you. You literally will be removing the whole bottom casing, and that's where the Nanobod, the 3DWaves Nanobod, which we're looking at here, comes into play. Once you remove the keyboard, the whole bottom case is removed. The bottom case and the keyboard is one piece. It's joined by a small ribbon cable on the inside. And the Nanobod case very neatly just covers up all those newly exposed internals. Enough waffling though, let's have a look inside and let's see what I did. Hello again. I feel that I should throw in another disclaimer, if I haven't already made this quite clear, that this is something that I do not encourage you to do. It's just something that I personally did. I don't think you should be opening up your electronic devices. I don't think you should be poking around in them. Again, this is just something that I have done. If you go ahead and do this, be very careful, and this is not my fault if you mess it up, okay? I cannot stress that enough. I'm not encouraging you to do this. Note, when I do it, I certainly have no power plugged in. Of course not. That would just be stupid. Make sure you just keep track of everything that you unplug and unscrew. Take photos as you go if you are feeling not confident. Well, I should say if you're feeling not confident, do not do it. Even if you feel confident, do not do it. In saying that, I am not recommending that anybody opens up their electronic devices and does this. Do not do this. Okay, so I guess we're doing an unboxing as well. Yeah, this is how it comes. Well, in another box, but yeah, this is the package that arrives. Let's get it out of here. All right, so you not only get the case itself, but they usually throw in a freebie or two. So let's take this out here and we'll get rid of this. So, open this up. You can see it's a pretty basic looking thing. It's of that typical, if you've ever handled much 3D printed stuff, you'll know exactly how it feels. It's kind of like that weird rough kind of plastic, which I've already done another Microfreak with this, and it feels a little bit wobbly out of the package, but once it's all bolted together, it becomes very rigid. But so yeah, you get the case itself, some stick-on rubber feet. They give you a little sticker, do what you want with that, and they also seem to give these little 3D printed little figures here. This is a blue little lucky cat looking guy. In the last one I got, they gave, what's this? A green, who's that, Bulbasaur, Pokemon? But, you know, as a side note, 3DWaves, bear in mind, Nintendo are fiercely protective of their intellectual property, so yeah, be careful there. But yeah, so a couple of little freebies, the sticker and the little cat figure, whatever. Rubber feet will come in very handy though. No screws or anything, because you actually just use the same screws from the Microfreak itself. You can see here on the bottom there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screw holes, and they will match up exactly with the screws on the Microfreak. So let's grab the Microfreak and open that up. And here we have the bottom of the Microfreak. You'll see a bunch of screws down here. The ones we want to concern ourselves with are these 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't need to really worry about these ones. So yeah, let's get taking these off. As always, make sure you put your screws somewhere safe so you know exactly where they are, rather than just dumping them on the desk loosely where they can fall over and roll away. And then you will lose them and you'll forever be annoyed because there'll probably be some random size that you cannot find at your local hardware store. And also, once again, not recommending you do this, but you will note that I certainly have no power supply plugged in here at all. That would just be silly. So yeah, you can see these are small, just little screws up here. I believe there's a size difference in the screws, so you just want to make sure you take note. Yep, see these ones down here are just a little bit longer. Again, keep the screws, you need them. These will be reused on the Nanobod case. This is a good point as well to actually say, whatever you do, make sure you keep the keyboard. I've read that it's needed for updates. I've not tried it myself, but if I've read online people saying they've done this and then they've tried to update it and they've got a message saying, no, you need to reconnect the keyboard, which, I mean, at best, it's mildly annoying, I would imagine, to have to pull it apart and reattach the keyboard for updates. At worst, you've thrown the keyboard in the trash or sold it, and then you're just kind of screwed. So yeah, just keep the keyboard somewhere safe and out of the way. Okay, so we have those 8 screws out. Let's flip this over. Now this should lift up like so. Being very careful not to go ripping things apart here. Now, you can see down here, this is the inside. This whole section is just being held on by this little ribbon cable here. So, all we want to do is, very carefully, remove that. And that's it. As you can see, all the jacks and power, everything is still connected. It's all part of this main board. This keyboard section is just one piece. It houses the keyboard, houses all of your sequencer and spice and dice function, which again, nice to have, just wasn't using it myself. So yeah, again, keep this, whatever you do. If you need to reattach it for, I mean, maybe you just want the keyboard back attached, maybe you need to do firmware updates. They even mark it here, you can see here. It says KB controller board. all you need to do is just reinsert this ribbon cable back in there. I've done it a couple of times, and yeah, it's all pretty simple. Just be gentle. These aren't super fragile, but they're also, you know, anything like this, you don't want to be too ham-fisted about it. So we literally have the whole working Microfreak minus the keyboard functions here. So we're going to put this aside. We'll keep it somewhere safe for the future. And yeah, let's have a look where we go with this case here. So you'll see here this raised edge, and this end here is much more exposed. So this is going to be the end that's going to match up with the back and the front. So let's get this in place. And as I say, it sort of felt a little bit flimsy before you get it all attached, but once it's in there, it's a lot more rigid. There we go, click clack, a little bit of gentle working. There are some tolerance issues with anything 3D printed usually, but we should be good. Certainly once we get the screws in as well. Okay, well, that took a little bit of working, but again, we got there. All right, so we're going to reinsert these screws. The shorter screws were the ones that were at the rear connections part of the body. So let's get them in. I don't know, I'm usually like to just kind of loose fit everything first. I mean, not just doing this, anything typically with dismantling or reassembling. Just loose fit everything, make sure it's all good, and then tighten everything up properly. So just going to get these screws seated. You want to make sure you have a fairly thin screwdriver as well. It's a just standard Phillips head. It's a pretty tight hole, especially these lower ones down here. Yeah, and once the screws are tightened down properly, it should all fit in. Again, there are some sort of strange tolerances going on here, but yeah, once we've got it all screwed in, it's all clacking into place. Clacking into place. It's not really what you want to hear when you're talking about a somewhat fragile electronic musical instrument. Yeah, just clack it into place. Should be right. And our rubber feet. And there it is. A small, self-contained, keyboardless Microfreak desktop module. Well, that's about it on this one. If you have any questions or comments, please go ahead below. I'm very active in my comment section. So yeah, love talking about this stuff, and yeah, love to help out. Again though, I do not suggest that you do this. Do not play around with electronic devices. If you ignore this advice and go ahead and do it and you mess up somehow, that is on you, okay? So be careful going forward. But yeah, if you found the video helpful or enjoyed it, please hit the thumbs up, like button. If you're new here, have a look around, check out some more of my videos. Lots of music, gear reviews, a few tutorials. If you enjoy what you see, please consider subscribing. It's really helpful. It's very difficult to be seen as a small, just self-funded enthusiast channel, lost in a sea of extremely well-funded and professional synth channels here on YouTube. But yeah, regardless though, hopefully you got something out of this. Thanks for watching. Cheers.